So let's go into your reading here. That was the initial message that I got and from shuffling. And I feel that, once I lay out the cards, it helps me concentrate on those messages better so that they're not, I'm not shuffling and then relaying messages at the same time, because then certain things are not explained well. Okay. So it's basically the same spread that I've been doing. I just laid out all the cards, and the cards are smaller, so they fit on screen. So I'm just going to use this format because it helps me narrow certain things. And it helps me also see all the cards at once and see how they, engage with one another. So the first cluster that we have here is the Empress energy, as well as the Five of Swords. So one of the first thing right off the bat here, we have to emphasize here is with the Empress. The Empress deals with pregnancy, fertility, that sense of female empowerment, but more than anything, it deals with our capacity to love somebody unconditionally and to give of ourselves and to know when to hold back. Okay, so it's a very, very nurturing maternal figure that is in the picture for you for this month. Somebody is going to exhibit, this energy, and a lot of you, I feel like you might be surrounded by people who are just a little bit stressed out. They might be a little bit hormonal due to hormonal fluctuations because, they're carrying or they're pregnant. And I do feel there might be some strife coming through as a result of that. It seems to me like it's a very short snippet of it seems like it's a very, very short blip on your radar, and then it's going to go away. And I feel like for a lot of you, you might be dealing with, maternal figures as well. Your mother, your grandmother, your aunt, somebody who is considered like a maternal figure in your life. They might tell you some things that you don't want to hear, or they might say something that might rub you the wrong way. Keep in mind that, they have the best intentions. They want what's best for you. And for some of you, it might be an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. And you might not feel that they are in a position to give you, guidance. When it comes to financial advice, I feel that they're in a good position to do that. When it comes to love and things like that, we feel most of the time that relationship advice are best, relationships advice should only be dished out when, it's solicited. So I feel like you're taking that energy where you are thinking, you're getting just a little bit defensive when somebody is giving you relationship advice. And it might come through in a very, very loving way. And you might, misinterpret the intention. So just be careful about that. I do see a lot of pregnancy energies around you. So be careful if you are not expecting. Just, protect yourself accordingly. I'm also feeling there's an element here about fertility treatment. If you've been unsuccessfully, trying to get pregnant, and there might be some issues, or there might have been blockages. I do feel these blockages clearing up. So we have very, very strong fertile pregnant energies. Just protect yourself accordingly. Okay. What I'm also feeling is there are discussions about pregnancy, and I do see for those of you in the I would say 40s age range, I feel that that biological clock situation is ticking, and it's a serious thing. And I feel that you're going to have a serious discussions or a series of serious discussions with your partner about, where this is going, where the relationship is headed. Are we still on the same page? And do we need to move the relationship along? Because some of you might want to establish a family, and you're, waiting for that person to pop the question. For example, if you are in long established relationships, I definitely feel proposals and things like that coming through to take the relationship to the next level. And I do feel a lot of you are right now very, very financially sound. It seems to me if you're in a relationship, you are financially sound. Your partner, if they've had financial fluctuations, they are getting back on their feet. So I feel discussions and things like that as it pertains to marriage, family planning and things like that. That's very, very prominent in this, for this month with the Empress and the Four of Wands. This is a marriage card. So it looks very, very good overall, especially for coupled people who are stable. Okay. What's also coming through here with your financial situation? I do feel here we have the Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Pentacles usually indicates a situation where we are starting to think very seriously about our savings. We're not spending money recklessly, lavishly, or at least, in the past, if money has just been coming in abundance and leaving your purse just as fast, this is a month in which you're really sitting down and you're really thinking about your long-term financial planning. I do see money being put in savings, money being put into like retirement account, pensions account, and even like invested in a, fruitful way. So this is a month for you to make investment, to not let money leave your hands or to spend lavishly. And I feel like a lot of you are becoming a lot more careful and diligent about bookkeeping, knowing what's coming in, knowing what's going out. And I don't see financial worries so much, but I definitely feel like a more mature way of handling finances, because I do feel a lot of you are thinking about, long-term retirement, travel opportunities as well. So if you are traveling a lot, and I feel a lot of you are, there will be expenditures, but I feel like you're getting a grip on it and you are, saving up, okay? Everything can be done very, very cheaply if we do a little bit of research. So if you are traveling a lot, try to travel on a budget, find ways to do that. And, it's not always about like going out to expensive restaurants and, with the latest dresses and things like that, or, that can apply for men, women. So just be sure that, just be certain that, if you're traveling a lot to see a specific person and it's a dear friend or family member, just somebody you care about, quality time is what's important. And quality time, it's free, but it means a lot. So keep that in mind, because I feel like you need to curb your spending. And I do feel like further down the line, and I'm seeing March here with the Pisces card, the moon. Further down the line, I definitely feel like there might be, snags along the road where whatever you're saving up now might come in handy for you in the March timeframe, okay? What it's also saying to you is that if you have a lot of social functions where you have to physically give out money, you're going to recoup whatever you're giving out in about 9 months' time. So I don't feel that you need to worry about it excessively. If it's like, things that you have to physically give away, money that you have to physically give away, it is going to a good cause. And it's also going to like, whatever you put out, you're going to get back. It might not be immediate, but I do see something here coming back through in about 9 months' time, and you're going to recoup your losses for right now. Okay. I do see like being conservative with gambling, betting on games is what I'm sensing. So the Chariot card usually indicates like, a victory, sporting events and things like that. And I do sense here they're saying, try to hold on tight to your money and not scatter it in this manner, especially if someone is telling you like, hey, I've got this great tip for you. Just be careful for this month because the energy is a little bit shifty when it comes to financial advice, okay? So the next situation coming through is exactly that. It is financial advice. We have here the King of Pentacles linked in with the Moon card. So first of all, if someone tells you, hey, I've got this great investment opportunity, everybody's doing it, here's a little tip for you, I would just hold off on that. And I would do, if I were you, I would just do the additional background research and see if it really pans out, or at least, never invest or bet more than you're willing to lose. It is a huge gamble. So you want to just, don't bet more than you're willing to, part with. Okay. First of all, the overwhelming energy that I'm getting with these two, cards is that a lot of you might be dealing with an earth sign. So a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. If this is a person that is your boss, and if it's a boss, it might not be an earth sign. If it's somebody that, represents the quality of an earth sign, but they might be your boss without having the sun, moon rising in an earth sign. I do feel there is some type of conflicting energies regarding this person. You feel like they're telling you to do one thing, and then they're, you feel like they have hidden agendas, hidden motives. So I do sense it is a little bit wise for you to look into their motives and to figure out what it is that they're getting at. What I'm also sensing as well is a lot of you might be thinking about, probably investing in a home. And if somebody's coming in with you and saying like, do you want to invest in this property with me? We'll split the profits. I feel property is it's going to be good for you. Investing in property with another person, especially, I feel it's a good time to do that. However, if it's like, you're the one that is investing solely alone, then I don't recommend that. But if they're like coming in, meeting you halfway, whatever you put in, they match you, then that seems like it's going to be stable. Okay. So I do feel like you're going to be questioning some people's motives, especially if you're dealing with an earth sign. If this is an ex, and I feel for a majority of you, this is a very, very handsome ex-boyfriend that, ex-partner, I would say, because we have, male, females, and, other people watching this. So it could be, ex-partner, I would say, a earth sign, very dominant, prominent earth sign, somebody who makes quite a bit of money. I do feel like striking, handsome, or beautiful. Like it's somebody who's very, classically beautiful, handsome, financially stable. I feel there is some confusing energy. This person might come in with proposals and things like that. They might pass it off as, hey, let's go out for a drink. Haven't, caught up with you in a while. I would question their motives. There's something here about, hidden agendas with the moon card where motives and intentions are not really clearly laid out. So you might just, meet them, run into them at a gathering. And I do feel, there is that sense of like rekindled romance. It might just be like a very short burst where you might end up with doing like a one night stand and then, possibly even regretting it. And I do feel like then you get confused because I feel like their intentions were clear from the get-go, but the emotions take over and then you both end up at, square one where things get confusing and things didn't work out the past few times. So this time is no different. So just be careful about that, okay? Don't let your emotions overrun your logic, and to really be discerning if you're dealing with someone who consistently is in and out of your life, because I feel like that's the what you see is pretty much what you get with this person. If they're consistently in and out, they might have confusing communication, but the point is that if they're not consistently there, that means that it's not going to give you a solid foundation. So just keep that in mind. Financial investment with another person in property is going to pan out well. And I feel there is some solicitations for some of you. If you own property, somebody might be like, and you have like I'm seeing this can be you or another person. If somebody owns property and they're planning to rent it out and, move somewhere else, I feel that you and another person are going to have discussions about that. And you're going to have like, hey, can we rent your house out to do such and such that might not be completely legal, which is, growing stuff, for example, or even using the property for other things. So, whatever that means to you, I would be very, very careful. I would be, extra careful about, resorting to that. Or like, so, it's going to play out in a myriad of ways, but I would just warn you to be careful. Take care of your property, because your property, a lot of times, it acts as your foundation. It's a stabilizing force in your life because you're a fire sign. You're very like, freedom loving and free roaming. So property usually is an earth element. It serves as an anchor in your life. It gives your life a sense of, I would say stability. And when, somebody else is in there doing something else, even though you're renting it out, I don't feel that's a great idea. So just keep that in mind if you are having discussions with somebody and they're like, hey, can I rent out your house and do this, do that? I don't feel they're going to lie to you. They trust you, so they're going to be honest. Just make sure that their activities are not illegal where it would affect you negatively, okay? That's and especially if you have, feelings for this person and you don't you can't say no to them. That's not a good start. So just keep that in mind, okay, Aries? The last two cards that are coming through here is a Page of Swords as well as the Nine of Pentacles. First of all, a lot of you are going to be dealing with an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. And they are going to bring with them some good financial news, okay? So you might just be getting news from all over in general, but I do feel this specifically pertains to somebody who is self-employed. They're telling you about, you know, what they're doing and how they're able to get where they are financially. So you're getting a lot of tips. You're getting a lot of, I also feel, you know, a very spiritual vibe with this card every time I see it, the Nine of Pentacles. So it seems to me that you might be dealing with somebody who's self-employed. You might be dealing with somebody who is like very spiritual. That is an air sign, an Aquarius, Gemini, or a Libra. They seem to me to be like a younger energy. So I would say like, you know, 35 years old maximum. And there's a lot of communication coming back and forth between you and this person. And I do feel as well, they want to, I'm sensing that they want to tell you a lot more than they're going to tell you when they come in. And it's really important to be open-minded, to like be all ears and not be judgmental. You know, like I said, relationships advice are best given only when they are solicited, okay? And so if whatever they're telling you, I do feel they fear judgment, so they come in armed, okay? I don't feel there's conflict. I don't feel there's trouble, but I feel like they need your support. And, you know, the nature of air sign people is that they're not going to tell you up front, hey, I just need you to be quiet. I just want to vent, or I just want to tell you this one thing. I don't need your advice. They're not going to say that. So I feel like it's up to you to read body language and to try to hold back. If you feel like you want to, you know, interject and give your advice, it's really important for you to ask them, you know, what do you want from me? Do you want me to just listen? Do you want to just gossip with me? Or do you want my advice? And then go from there, you know, establish some type of boundaries, establish clear baselines so that both parties know what to expect. Because I feel like they want to tell you a lot. They have a lot that's bottled up, but they're afraid of judgment. So they're coming in a little bit on the defense and a little bit armed, okay? So keep that in mind. I do see a lot of messages from far away. I do see people traveling to come see you, you traveling to come see them. Messages messages being delivered from far away. A lot of it is like best done face to face. Text messages and, you know, overall important communication should be saved for over the phone or in person, because a lot of things are like misconstrued. You know, somebody is like holding back their feelings. The other person is like, oh, it's like this. So there's a lot of confusion when it comes to communication overall. Everyone means well, but I feel like there is a discordant energy that's not really driving well in the ways that you all interact. So just be careful about that, okay? And don't, I don't feel this is coming from your end. Just be receptive when you have somebody coming through and, you know, try to hold back on the advice. Now, in terms of your spiritual advice, we do have the Four of Wands, which is traditionally a marriage card. We do have the Page of Pentacles as well. This is a very, very stable house, marriage type of a situation. If you are involved with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, I do feel, you know, if you're in a long-standing relationship, there's going to be proposals coming through, or at least discussions about engagement, taking relationships to the next level and things like that. And I mentioned earlier, if you've been dating this earth sign, there might be, you know, some type of a event where you run into them. You might be trying to figure out, you know, if they're seeing somebody, and you might be just curiously trying to, you know, figure out some information from your end about what they're up to. So I do see that there is some clarity, some light, or some research necessary in this area on this person in order to understand and gauge clear intentions and motives, okay?